Welcome. Today we are going to be face to face with Kapil Muni Ashram at core of the earth. This is a transcendental phenomenon. How at Prithvi Nabhi Kendra there is a transcendental base for sustaining the integrated setup of the earth as a pair of hemispheres. Sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge for glimpsing and to be parallel to this transcendental phenomenon at core of the earth shall sit comfortably and meditate within cavity of one's own heart to attain transcendental grace on the path of attainment of transcendental grace by Lord Brahma, Creator the Supreme. With this meditation, the entitlement for transcendental grace follows of its own. By having this transcendental grace, one shall initiate oneself parallel to the wisdom enlightenment path of Lord Ganesha. With the path of enlightenment of Lord Ganesha, one is to reach Kapil Muni Ashram. For the modern mind, the approach to core of the earth and the attainment of a reach up till core of the earth by the Vedic systems have fundamental difference in approach in terms of format, values, features, processing steps, and all sequential chase. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel to the Vedic approach to core of the earth shall be face to face with the concept of a Kapil Muni Ashram. Kapil Muni is the seer is Rishi of the Sankhya Nishtha. The Sankhya Darshan, the Sankhya values, the Sankhya Nishtha, the Sankhya way of processing the universal existence phenomenon is to avail the artifices of numbers by presuming the existence of the geometric formats. Yoga Nishtha, on the contrary, avails dimensional frames of the geometric formats but presumes the existence of the artifices of numbers. Therefore, here our focus is upon the Sankhya Nishtha, that is, we will be approaching the core of the earth with the help of the artifices of the numbers. For that, let us first of all chase the formulation Kapil Muni Ashram itself. The formulation Kapil is leading us to values 1 and 1, then it is 5 and 2, so it is 1, 1, 5 and 2, it is 5 and 1, it makes value 15. Formulation Muni takes us to value 9 and 3, 8 and 2, and it takes us to value 22. The formulation Ashram takes us to value 2, this is 2, 1 and 1, it is 9 and 1, it takes to value 16. The summation value of 15, 22 and 16 is 53. Value 53, if we are approaching in terms of the NVF values of alphabet of 26 letters A to Z as values range 1 to 26, then leads to the formulation axis as a value 53. Otherwise, value 53 is the synthesis value of a pair of transcendence ranges of a solid order. The solid order transcendence range is a 5 steps long range of values 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 leading to value 25. The second transcendence range as well will yield us value 25, and 3 is the transcendental joint dimensional solid dimension as an order is leading us to providing us a dimensional glue as a synthesis glue value 3, and it makes value 53. This means that the Kapil Muni Ashram as such is a formulation which leads us to that we have to work with a solid dimension. That means we have to work with 3 space in the role of a dimension. So 3 space in the role of a dimension would mean that it will take us to a 5 space. 3 space as dimension leads to 5 space as a domain. Let us now see the comprehension of the Vedic systems of the core of the earth, Nabhi, Prithvi, Nabhi, Kendra. The Prithvi Nabhi Kendra as such is a setup of the split of 3 space into 8 octets. At origin is at the Nabhi. The origin is a creator space, a 4 space. And the center of this Nabhi is a 5 space in the role of an origin of a 4 space. Therefore, Prithvi Nabhi Kendra is accepting a format of hypercube 4, the representative regular body of a 4 space. The Kapil Muni Ashram is at Prithvi Nabhi Kendra. Now Prithvi Nabhi Kendra we know is a 5 space as origin of a 4 space. 5 space is a solid dimensional space. Therefore, the Prithvi Nabhi Kendra as such when leads us to value 25, 20 and 23, that is 68, and which has a split up of 34 and 34, and 34 is having an organization 7, 8, 9 and 10, and this organization is parallel to 4-fold manifestation layer of hypercube 9. So see the Prithvi Nabhi Kendra as it is leading us to a synthetic setup of pair of hypercubes 9, the representative bodies of 9 space. From here we can have an idea as to how the core of the earth is of format features where the hypercube 9's pair gets synthesized, how far away we are from the comprehension of a reality when we are simply trying to approach Earth as well as the solar universe and the existence phenomena within solar universe in terms of a 3-dimensional frame of 3 linear axes. It is here where we can have a comparative view of the modern comprehension and approach to the universe and the existence phenomena within the universe in terms of triple linear axis, while the Vedic systems are approaching it with the three space itself in the role of a dimension which will lead us to a five space. And once we are at a five space, then it will be leading us to a fivefold transcendence range which will take us to 9. It is here where we have to have a stop. We have to sit comfortably and we have to be face to face with this comprehension, this vision, and this reach, this mathematics, and these formulations in terms of which our seers, our ancestors, the Vedic seers, the Vedic systems, the Vedic mathematics, the Vedic sciences, Vedic technologies are in fact approaching the center, the core of the earth. Therefore, we shall sit comfortably and go the Vedic way. We shall approach the Vedic systems the Vedic way. And when we will be approaching the Vedic systems the Vedic way, that would mean that we shall be having such mental states which help us transcend through the linear order progression setup of a three space with as framed within a three linear axis. We have to transcend from this linear dimensional frame for the space which will sequentially take us to the creative dimensional frame and then to a transcendental dimensional frame. In fact, we have to reach at the transcendental dimensional frame. That means we have to reach at 5 space in the role of a dimension. And when 5 space will be in the role of a dimension, then we will see that we will be having a transcendence range 5, 6, 9, 8 and 7. See, this value is, how much is the value? This is 35. Now if we go to the Ganita Sutras, we say the first sutra is telling us Eka Adhi Ke Purve. Now see, the formulation Purve is leading us to value how much? It is leading us to value 5 and 6. Then it is leading us to value 3, 7 and 6. And it is value 7 and 1. It makes a value 35. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge have to glimpse the formulation Purve of the Sutra Ekadhikain Purve, means the previous state from which we have to start processing the existence phenomenon of our solar universe is this Purve, which is of value 35, and it is this value 35 which is the value of the transcendence range of a transcendental order. So this transcendental range of a transcendental order of value 35 is the value of the formulation Purve. Now see, the formulation Ekadhikain is leading us to value 6, 4, 2, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 1. Now see, these triple values are values of a Rishi. And what Rishi does? Rishi just glimpses. So Rishi glimpses through the vertical axis. It is this glimpsing which is taking us sequentially from 6, 4 and 2. It is Re. It is Sha. It is Re. Therefore, these three steps of transcendence within 6 space means transcendence within Sun. So at the Vishnu Lok, when we are in a 6 space, we have to transcend within it. We have to transcend as a Rishi, means we have to glimpse, we have to become a Drishta. What we have to glimpse? We have to glimpse the origin. Therefore, we want to glimpse the origin. When we are glimpsing the origin, that means in this sequence we will be reaching at value 0. However, we know that 6 space is having 7 space in the role of an origin. Now see, the 7 space is an origin, and further also we see that this value is taking us upward like this. That means here is a joint, and it is this joint of the origin is like 0 plus 0, which remains 0. It is this feature that gives us two formulations. Sapt, which would simple rendering is 7, gives us a TC value of a Sapt as 14. Therefore, the first 3 letters 6, 4 and 2 take us to the formulation Rishi, and at the next step we are reaching at value 7 plus 7, and this quadruple steps range is of value 26, which is the TC value of a Devata. Therefore, from Rishi to Devata, we have reached while we are glimpsing the origin. Means we are glimpsing here the origin. What is happening at the origin? At the origin, the happening is of a domain which is playing the role of an origin, and it is the Devata. And step ahead, when we will proceed, we know that this branch with value 6, 4, 2 and 7 as value 19 will give us the formulation Chand. And step ahead, when we will reach 3 steps, it is value 15. That means we are reaching at Swara. As such, Ganita Sutra 1 is the source sutra which is of the processing step, that we have to proceed a step ahead of the Purva, the existing position. Purva is of value 35, and this value is the value of a 5 space in the role of a dimension, leading us to transcendence range of value 35. Now this value 35 we know is the TCV value of Udgit, and it is here where the Vedic systems really take us to the eternity. Then we are, by Udgit means what? We are along the soul syllable Om, Tasya Vachka Parnava, Om, Omkar and Udgit. But we have not to stop here. Step ahead way to go. It is Vashatkar. Therefore, the sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to have a reach from core of the earth to Vishnu Lok, a Golok. When we have to reach Golok, which is of a TCV value 22, and this value TC value 22 is equal to 4, 5, 6 and 7, and it is the value of hypercube 6. We had started with the Prithvi Nabhi Kendra as hypercube 4. We want to have a takeoff from here for a reach up till sun, Surya. Therefore, when we want to reach at Surya, that means we want to reach at hypercube 6. One may have a pause here, and one shall sit comfortably, and one shall permit oneself to be parallel to the Vedic systems by following the enlightenment path of Creator, the Supreme Lord Brahma, having a meditation within cavity of one's own heart and making oneself entitled for the dissolving of the mental state of a linear approach to universe. From linear approach, we will have a spatial approach of the Creator's space. Moment we will be transiting, transforming and transcending from the three-dimensional linear format to a spatial format. That means when we will be having a cut of our 3 space into 8 octants in terms of triple spatial axis. So with the triple spatial axis, we will have a cut for our 3 space into 8 octants. This transition is a step ahead when we will be having a quadruple spatial dimensions. Then we will be reaching a stage means 2 raised to power 4, and it is the value of the ashram. So we want to reach at a ashram, and we know that at the previous stage we are at value 15, and 15 is the value of a 5 solid dimensions. As such, when we are having 5 solid dimensions, and from here we want to reach at the 2 raised to power 4 means the dimensional order, means spatial dimensional order setup. When we want to reach the ashram, then we have to be a Muni. That means we have to have a value 22. That means we have to come back, we have to go from here to hypercube 6, which will provide us a quadruple spatial dimensions. It is this reach which is to be achieved. It is this reach with which we have to be a parallel, and for it we have to appreciate how the vertical axis, which accepts value 1 being the first axis and which also accepts value 3 being the third axis, then it is this superimposition of the dimension upon the domain, a characteristic which will work. That working is going to be that when the spatial dimension gets superimposed upon the linear dimension, it is this phenomenon of superimposition of the spatial order upon the linear order which is the basic vision, basic comprehension of the Vedic systems. Sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel to the Vedic systems have to sit comfortably and have to melt their mental state of a linear axis setup. We have to transit, transform and transcend from the linear axis to a spatial axis. Once we will be transcending from linear axis to a spatial axis, then we will be seeing the transcendence phenomenon happening at the origin of the Creator, the space itself, which as a result amount to a superimposition of a spatial order upon a linear order. It is this phenomenon of superimposition of the spatial order upon the linear order which deserves to be comprehended well when we are approaching it as, say, a triangle where we cannot reach inside the surface because there is no internal diagonal. However, when we are at the polynomial 4, means a rectangle or a square, then there happens to be a pair of internal diagonals which cross at the center itself, and the center gets sealed. It is because of this seal at the center, which is a seat of a four space within cube. It is because of this seal that the modern mathematics, when progresses along in terms of the linear progression, it bounces back. It is this bounce back which is coming in the way of the modern mind to transcend this limitation, and it is because of difficulty to transcend this mental state that modern mathematics and modern systems are neither visualizing nor comprehending nor imbibing the existence of fourth dimension as well being a geometric dimension. Modern mind is finding peace by accepting different generic setup of a time, by taking it to be a geometric format and accepting it as a fourth dimension. The whole fallacy, the whole difficulty, the every complication with the approach of the modern mathematics is that it is accepting non-geometric setup of the time as a geometric axis. It is because of it that modern mind is not coming in a state to have transition, transformation and transcendence from the linear axis setup of triple linear axis to quadruple spatial dimensions. It is because of it that the modern mind is not in a position to go the Vedic way. To go the Vedic way, we have to transcend from a three space within three linear axis setup to a four space within quadruple spatial dimensions. We have not stopped there. We have to even proceed and go step ahead, and then we have to reach a space, a transcendental space, a space within penta solid dimensions. It is this phenomenon of a penta solid dimensions. It is the phenomenon of the transcendental Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is a five-head Lord, and each head of Lord Shiva is equipped with triple eyes. It is this phenomenon of 3 into 5 is equal to 15 eyes. Now, this phenomenon is the phenomenon which is to be imbibed, which is to be comprehended, for which one is to have a vision. And for having this vision, one is to melt one's mental state. How to melt mental state as well is provided by the Vedic systems themselves. We have to go the Vedic systems. Before I proceed further, let me state that the Kapil Muni Ashram is, say, if we go through Adi Valmiki Ramayana, Balkhand, Sarga 43, and then we see here is the narration as to how the Manasputras of Sagar have tried to reach the core where is a seat of a Kapil Muni, and how these 60,000 Manasputras, 60,000 we appreciate that six space is having a transcendental boundary of 12 components, and each component is enveloped within a creative boundary of spatial dimensions, and then the triple dimensions gives 1000, so is it 12,000. 12 into 5, 60,000. Now these 60,000 values at the transcendental boundary of the sixth space as such get simultaneously destroyed, vanished, become of a zero value, only because that this setup is not the setup which will be parallel to the setup at the core of the earth. Therefore, the sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to go the Vedic way. They have to comprehend the distinguishing features of a Manasputra and a Orasputra. This is a concept. Manasputra means like a machine, and these are the natural. This is a man. So this man machine, so man as a machine and machine as a man is the concept, is the vision, is the comprehension for which the Vedic systems have reached at the limitations of a Manasputra vis-a-vis the Orasputra. Orasputra is a natural son, Manasputra is an artificial son. Now, this machine-like phenomenon, Manasputra, is leading us to value 34, which is equal to 7, 8, 9 and 10, and it is equal to a single hypercube 9. However, Orasputra is of value 31, which is the synthesis value of a pair of transcendence ranges of a linear order. How this transcendence phenomenon of pair of transcendent ranges of linear order are more powerful than that of 34. And we know 31, 32, 33 and 34 would mean that we are reaching at hypercube 33, and with the origin 34, a dimension is 31. We have to remain at this dimension level. If we are at that dimension level, then we are at Orasputra. If we go at 34 as an origin level, then we are at Manasputra. The artificial intelligence and natural intelligence, man-machine match and differences are the values and the features which have been worked out thoroughly, minutely, bit by bit, step by step, and its mathematics is the mathematics of a Ganita Sutras. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of virtue shall be parallel to this achievement of the Vedic systems. We shall be approaching henceforth to the Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences and Vedic technologies as stand expressed and reflected well in our available Vedic literature, particularly in our two epics, Adi Valmiki Ramayana and Urma Bharatam. The approach to Vedic systems in terms of axioms, postulates and working steps of the vision and comprehension of the modern mind is highly insufficient, and the Vedic systems accept a Vedic way, and that this Vedic way is of reality of 3 space, 4 space, 5 space and 6 space. 6 space is a real space, and when we say real space, that means all the dimensions are of equal geometric setups. So all the 6 dimensions of a 6 space are geometric. All the 5 dimensions of a 5 space are geometric. All the 4 dimensions of a 4 space are geometric. All the 3 dimensions of 3 space are geometric. Further, the axis of 3 space is linear, means 1 space, means interval is playing the role of a dimension as an axis of 3 space. Plane, surface, 2 space is playing the role of dimension as axis of a 4 space. Solids are playing the role of dimension as axis of 5 space. And the creative 4 space setups are playing the role of dimension as axis of 6 space. Therefore, when we have to approach solar universe and existence phenomenon within solar universe as per the Vedic systems, then we have to approach 6 space as a format for sun. So Surya is a six-space body. It is to be approached as a space framed within a dimensional frame of six creative dimensions. Our space, Akash Tattva, five space, is a real space which is framed within five solid dimensions. Creator's space, four space, is a real four space which is framed within quadruple spatial dimensions. And three space is a real space which is framed within a three linear axis. Then the three space, four space, five space, and six space are synthesized simultaneously. These are simultaneously available in the setup of a five space. So hypercube of 5, a representative regular body of a 5 space, he is having 3 space in the role of a dimension, 4 space in the role of a boundary, 5 space in the role of a domain, and 6 space in the role of an origin. Therefore, this setup of transcendental space deserves to be comprehended well. It is to be imbibed. One is to be parallel with it, and it is only by parallel with it that we will be parallel to the Vedic comprehension of the transcendental space presided by Lord Shiva, a five-headed Lord with triple eyes equipped in each of the head, and Lord Shiva is having 10 beautiful arms, and within the heart of Lord Brahma is the seat of a self-referral Lord Vishnu. Lord Ganesha is the son of Lord Shiva and the goddess Parvati, goddess Durga. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel to Vedic systems shall approach Vedic way, and Vedic way to approach is that one is to meditate within the cavity of one's own heart and to get oneself transcendental grace parallel to the transcendental grace bestowed upon the Creator, Lord Brahma himself. It is only with it that one will be melting one's mental state, and it is only by melting one's mental state that one will be in a position to transit, transform, and transcend from a three space framed within three linear axes, and a reach would be within a creator's space, a four space, which is of the setup of hypercube 4 format provided for the Prithvi Nabhi Kendra. So Prithvi Nabhi Kendra, the core of the earth, is provided a format of hypercube of 4, and in this format there being a transcendental center, and as such this transcendental center will take us to Kapil Muni Ashram. It is the potentiality of the Kapil Muni Ashram, and as such of the Kapil Muni himself, that the Sagar, who had as many as 60,000 Manasputras, machines built by acquiring, deciphering, and availing the individual features of human body. So man, machine match as Manasputra, 60,000 in number, are no match for the Kapil Muni, and the Kapil Muni Ashram at Prithvi Nabhi Kendra is absolutely safe, and no machine made by man can disturb this format. Thank you very much.